Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Britton's Hangout Hour, and it's a special number 150. I'm here today with Steve Donoghue. I'm kind of surprised. It took me a while to get this together because I was gonna have someone on here. It didn't pan out, and I'm like, well, you know what? I like Steve Donoghue's channel. I'll rope him in, see how that goes.
Here I am.
uh,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a journey. I'll just say. New microphone, new computer, getting OBS. It's fun times.
New people all the time too.
New people all the time as well. Yes.
You got to
Um.
adapt at all times to new people. When
y-
you're doing an interview show of any kind, you got to adapt at all times.
yeah. No. Yeah. I think I actually discovered you because I watched Chatting with Nuts and you were on there, and I was like, oh, this
Yes,
guy's interesting.
my one and only appearance on Chatting with Nuts.
Yeah. Maybe
Listen,
maybe you'll get back on there again. I haven't been on yet. I would love to. I'll know I've made it
I don't
as
think
a
his
booktuber.
viewers. I don't think his viewers much liked me.
Oh,
It's a
sure.
little odd. I don't think his viewers are pretty vocal about not liking me, but the likes on that video are pretty good. The views on that video are pretty good. So
I mean, you have a yeah. I mean, you have a lot of you have a lot of subscribers. I mean, I'm sure they. Or I mean, I don't know if you told them about chatting with nuts, but I don't know.
I did, but a lot my subscribers have. I don't think there's a lot of overlap between his channel and mine in terms of viewers. Because I'm not a his channel is, you know, I mean he digresses from time to time, but his channel is firmly planted in fantasy tube,
Yeah,
whereas I talk about everything. So
yeah. I mean that's kind of what I find interesting about your channel, Steve. Is like you are willing, and Jemmy kind of touched on this as well, but you kind of touch everything, rather it be like speculative fiction or regular literary fiction, whatever that means anymore. Comics, books about science. Like you're basically like free range, like with everything. I really appreciate that about your channel.
yes, I am hungry for the feeling that we all have, and where I think I've always said I firmly believe it's what keeps people reading in their free time when they don't have to. Is
Mm-hmm.
that hair standing up feeling of I am I don't even know how to describe it. Non-readers will not know what we're talking about. But any reader has had that feeling where a book just pushes all their buttons, excites them, keeps them up past their bedtime, whatever you want, whatever metric you want to use. That feeling of your hair standing on end, that feeling of just slow, gradual electrification that you get when you're totally absorbed in a book. I love that feeling. I love it as much as any reader does. It's just unlike a lot of readers, I am willing to chase it anywhere. I'm willing to read anything that might give me that feeling. Whereas most readers have jobs and school and all sorts of other commitments, and they also read at what I affectionately refer to as head injury speed. So they
I
can't
mean,
go to that.
unfortunately, I mean, as much fun as it would be to have a job where I just read books and talk about them all day. I mean, a lot of us unfortunately don't. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, you're in kind of a unique position. You've been doing this for a long time. Basically,
Booktube? Yeah.
you were doing it before it was cool. Basically,
Oh no, no, that's not true. It was cool before I started, long before Ariel Bissett made it cool 20 years ago. but but I have been doing it a long time. That creeps up on you.
yeah. No, I think I saw videos from you from like almost like a decade ago. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn.
tomorrow next year will be 10 years.
Oh my god. And yeah, like I've seen you just cover everything from like presidential biographies to like books about science to like old pulp science fiction and fantasy, which
And history and biography.
I appreciate. I try to read as widely as I can as well. And then I've even found some interesting recommendations. I haven't read them yet, but I would like to. Like oh lord, I picked up it was a I think it was called The Half Drowned King. It was a trilogy. Cause I'd seen it at my local bookshops. I'm like, yeah, that looks interesting. And I saw you talking about them very very positively, and I
They're
thought,
fantastic.
and
Yes, no,
and I'm like, well, you know what? I can't, make excuses anymore. I'll have to pick this up at some point.
yeah, they're the best Viking era fiction's ever been done, which is
Yeah, it's
going to be a little rough on one particular Nobel Prize winner, but still, it's true. I calls them like I sees them.
yeah, or I have some friends who really like this book called The Long Ships, and they actually put out a
Yeah,
recent copy, and Michael Chabon did the forward for it. Which I'm like, oh, I like Michael Chabon, so I'll have to pick that up at some point. But but
yes,
yeah,
it was
I
an odd little flex on Michael Chabon's part, doing a preface for the long ships. It was an odd little flex in a couple of different directions. Because
yeah,
I
no,
think on some level, deep down inside, he knows perfectly well that if you gave him the outline of the plot of the long ships, he could write a better version of that book. And I think he knows that. I wonder, oh, you're getting authentic sirens. I often wonder how many contemporary writers who do prefaces of canonical works or older works do it specifically for that reason, to flex in that way.
I don't know. I read I there's another book that's kind of a similar copy. It's called dang it, I can't. It's like Hard Fall Raining or something. It has a foreword from George Pelecanos. I haven't read him yet, but I definitely wanting to because I want to catch up on like crime books and science fiction next year because I'm kind of burned out on epic fantasy, even though I'll
What?
still be reading fantasy a bit. But
You got burned out on epic fantasy?
a little bit.
What did?
I started Malazan and I'm like, this is too big. I need to chill out. I'm gonna read some standalones for a while. And we'll see how that goes.
Good
But
lord.
yeah, no, yeah, I'm kind of I'm like a weird cult channel. I haven't gotten to like your level yet where you like have more. But then again, I haven't been doing it as long as you have. So there's that.
Well, my channel is plenty weird. I have said from the beginning, and I still say, I legitimately, this is not me trolling for comments. I legitimately do not understand why anyone watches my channel. Now, sometimes I do. If I make a list of books, maybe I could understand that, but usually, no, no, I don't have any
I mean,
idea.
I like watching your channel because you're unapologetically yourself. I respect that. Which I know that's probably like you're probably gonna like roll your eyes and like, well, that's kind of like a given, but there's sometimes with other booktubers I see it, and nothing against this, by the way, but I do think there is a certain level of performance, and I don't get that from you. It's like I'm just like I'm this guy. Here are the books I like, and
Well,
if
there's a
here's
certain
the
level of
books I don't.
performance. There's a certain level of performance in any of us, right? I
Well,
mean, we're
sure,
trying not,
yeah. That's what I'm trying to
but
say, but
that's
like
not the same thing as falsity.
no,
I I don't know. Well, I was just about to say I've pruned out all the booktube channels, especially that I used to watch that were false, that were obviously false.
hmm
But I haven't done that. I still watch quite a few false channels. People that don't read the books they're talking about or don't read at all, that still make booktube videos. I just don't understand that. I really don't. There's so many other ways to make money on YouTube.
yeah. I mean, my mom's always because my mom sometimes watches my channel. She's always like, well, why don't you like hashtag everything and whatnot? You can get more subscribers. And I'm like, well, it's that's fine and all. I mean, I would like to get more. I mean, I want people to watch my channel, of course, but like I don't want to be beholden to something. And
Right.
I think I've heard you say like similar things in the past, so maybe you know what
Well,
I mean.
yes, although I wouldn't go so far as to say that SEO measures are beholden. I meant sponsorships and things like that. I myself should hashtag, I should make playlists, I should do all that stuff. That's just courteous to your viewers or potential viewers. I mean, if you've got somebody out there in the world who's never heard of your channel, but they know about one subject or one writer that they want to watch about, they might like your channel. If you hashtag it, they'd find it. If you don't, they won't. Simple as that. But I don't do it. I should, but I don't.
Yeah, it's
Then
yeah.
again, I don't want any more subscribers, so maybe I shouldn't do
you're
it.
you're fine with where you're at. I hear you.
Yeah, I'm fine at 500 subscribers. I'm
Hmm.
fine at 500. 500 is fine. So yeah, I'm fine where I am, definitely.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but yeah, you also run a place called, or you run a website called is it Open Reviews?
Open Letters Review.
Open Letters Review.
Mhm.
Where you
Book
and
review.
other people talk about books. Basically, it's a
You're
blog
right.
in some
It's
ways.
well, it's not a blog because it's not mine. It's a genuine website. It's a genuine literary journal. It's just
Well, you
online
do
and
have a
free.
blog, but that was
I
the
do have a
wrong word
blog,
for
yes.
it.
Yes. But Open Letters Review is not a blog. Open Letters Review is professional, formal book reviews. I've
Hmm.
been very pleased by how many booktubers have decided to try that and ended up liking it. Very pleased about that.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, I've noticed. I've noticed like websites like Grimdark magazine or FanFi Addict who have um who are kind of I don't know if they're professional blogs like yours. You know, you're definitely like a professional. You do this for a living. But it has been attracting like authors who write self-published stuff and YouTubers to like work on them, which is quite fascinating.
well, yeah, that's since about the middle of the 20th century, I think that's a maxim that really is true, which is simply that there are never enough venues. So somebody puts together a really nice looking venue, whether it's, I've seen some of these sword and sorcery magazines that they're really nice looking, they're professionally run. People are going to flock to them. Sooner or later, you do that for a couple of years, big names are going to flock to them.
Yeah.
They're
Um,
just they're just aren't there anymore.
yeah, like my friend Liam has written stories for Sword and Sorcery magazines as well because he's very fond of that particular subgenre. Which which is funny because as big as fantasy booktube is, like Sword and Sorcery is kind of a niche of that.
A niche within a
A
niche.
bit niche,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a bit
Yeah,
smaller, I should say.
I wish that Liam had more time to write. I really do. I don't know how he has any time to write at all, but I
Yeah, I
wish that
know.
he had
He
even
yeah,
more of it.
he's busy, man. I had him on my show a while back, and I wanted to have him on again. I just haven't had the chance, because timelines haven't lined up.
Yeah, I in addition to everything else, I am the book section editor for the smallest dedicated book section in a print newspaper anywhere in the country. Big Canoe News in northern Georgia is a monthly
Okay.
full color newspaper. They are a legitimate newspaper. They have ads. They have a board of directors. They have a masthead, and I'm on that masthead not as arts editor or as living editor, but as the books editor. I have a page that's dedicated solely to books. And for a while there, I had before my section shrank just a bit. I had the privilege of running a column by Liam, and that was a delight. He, and I would love to do. I wish that he had more time to write. I wish that everybody on BookTube who writes had more time to write.
Yeah, it's a yeah, it's always time, unless I don't know. I don't know what my point was gonna be. But that's interesting though. I have also I've worked at like my college's newspapers. Um, but it is kind of slowly going digital because the internet is a wondrous thing. At least sometimes.
The physical production costs are through the roof.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, in the 70s, you could put together a magazine, and you wouldn't be ruining yourself for taking out a mortgage on the house. Now, no way, no way at all. It's utterly prohibitive. But But what about you? Why are you on BookTube?
Well, well,
What's the origin story of some oaky dude?
I started this channel as I started reviewing stuff, but it was really bad because it was me just rambling, and I'm like, this sucks. So I stopped, and then I kind of just used it for some other things I've been doing. And then some friends of mine are like, well, you like books, you have opinions, just do a channel. And I'm like, no, I'm not very well spoken, whatever. And then finally I saw like Brian Lee Durfee. I don't know how familiar you are with Brian Lee Durfee, but I watched him do it, and he's on his phone and he's just sitting there just BSing about books for 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, well, I have no excuse whatsoever. I gotta put my hat into the ring. And I've been running it ever since. I've really been enjoying it. And I've met a lot of interesting people on here.
Would you consider yourself fantasy tube? No.
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 I mean, I don't know. It kind of started out as fantasy booktube, and I'm like, I don't, because if I read the same genre all the time, I would get burned out. So that's probably why I'm like not in the stratosphere, which is totally fine because that's one of the nice things about having like only 600 something subscribers. You can kind of just do whatever you want, and people will just kind of be like, oh, that's cool. Oh,
Yes.
he's talking about like this quaint Bazlag series. That's interesting. I'll have to pick that up at some point.
I would once have said that no matter what size your channel is, you can do whatever you want. But I've been acquainted in the last couple of years with the concept of punching down. And I have been told that you have to pay attention to that. And if your channel is 10 times bigger than a channel that you want to respond to, you can't respond to them unless it's to praise them. A little
Yeah,
bit annoying, but I've been trying to adhere by that.
yeah. I mean, and I'm also like, well, not a lot of booktubers talk about comics. A lot of them talk about manga, which I mean is comics, but it's Japanese comics, which that's fine. And I saw like you and Michael K. Vaughn doing Epic Comic Book Wednesday, and I'm like, oh well, okay, I'm not alone here.
No, no, not at all. And Mike, like me, is a generalist when it comes to comics. So,
I mean, I
I
do
mean,
I
there
do
are people out
see
there.
the Superman poster behind you.
Yes, well, I, David Murphy found it at a thrift shop when we were there, just randomly in a pile of pictures that were already framed. I could not possibly leave it. So,
Yeah, I mean, you
I
do
switched things
seem
around.
like in your Epic Comic Book Wednesdays, you seem to have a particular like affinity for Superman out of all of the other
Mike and I both do. Yeah.
comic book characters. And I am curious because I was always more of a Batman kid, but like, and I have grown to appreciate Superman more over the years. It's kind of I find it's one of those weird as you grow older, you appreciate Superman more because it's like as the world grows more cynical, he's this kind of like paragon of virtue and hope. But like, what is it about like Superman that like attracts you so much? Which I know is kind of a weird pivot, but I know your love of Superman. I kind of wanted to dig a little more into that.
Well, he's driven by duty. Same thing that drives my five guys in history. He's driven by duty, not by vengeance, not by a desire for the limelight, not even to have his job, just by duty. And also, he epitomizes restraint, which is a thing that a lot of his current writers don't get. Batman does not epitomize restraint. Batman takes a vow to go out and extract vengeance on cowardly criminals all over the world. He's not talking about restraint. He's talking about spending his family fortune for the best cars and lead brass knuckles and whatnot in the world. And he in Batman stories, he is trying his hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Superman is restraining himself.
Mm-hmm.
He can't punch criminals. He can't even squint at them, or he'll evaporate them. Everything about him is restraint, and it's moral as well as physical restraint. So that automatically appeals. I think I never had a period where I thought that Batman was cool. But then again, Superman was my original love was Superboy.
Mm.
A character that doesn't exist anymore in DC continuity.
Mm.
Teenage version of Clark Kent doesn't exist anymore in DC continuity. So
I know the New 52 had Jeff Lemire try to kind of bring him back, but it didn't really last very long.
Well,
Or well, I mean, as far as I know, maybe it still exists. I don't know. I'm really bad at keeping up with like continuity, like what's going on at the moment. But that's the last I recall of like Superboy, unless they're like I'm sure you know a lot more than I do. I'll just say that.
there's a character named Superboy. There are a couple, but I'm talking about Clark Kent as a teenager, which is that DC doesn't do that anymore. I'm sure they never will again, which is a shame. Although I know I say that, but there has been some movement in that direction because the writer Mark Waid can do anything he wants. Every book that he writes for DC Comics actually sells well, even if it's not a Batman book, and that's unheard of. So, and he has recently reintroduced a teenage Superman, teenage Clark Kent who puts on the costume and has the dog and all that. Did you see the new movie?
I did. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit.
Anything you didn't like?
Um, Not really. I mean, aside from maybe like I don't even know if it was legit. The whole like, oh, they were conquerors. They were supposed to send him the I just I'm kind of sick of the like, oh, they were jerks the whole time. I'm kind of getting sick of the evil Superman thing, kind of, which I know a lot of
Well, you
people
certainly
are.
didn't get an evil Superman in this movie.
Well, there's not an evil Superman in this movie, but it's like evil Krypton. I'm kind of like, okay, like I'm getting kind of tired.
But,
Unless it is Lex Luthor just like messing with Superman, which is definitely a
well,
possibility.
right, you have that as a possibility. Although I'm the only person I know who saw that bit where Superman's dead parents are telling him inseminate as many Earth women as you can, and thought it was just funny. But
Well,
it was
yeah.
just James Gunn being funny. It wasn't as serious as people think. I think I'm the only person who had that reaction. I got so many emails from old friends of mine saying, "Well, you must be mad about that." I wasn't at all. I was overjoyed at a movie full of Crypto, the super dog.
Well, I mean, yeah, Crypto was fun. I enjoyed it, and I was really glad that the movie wasn't ashamed of its comic book roots, which is sometimes I notice in some other comic book movies of
Yeah,
that sort.
yeah,
Um, it's like James Gunn's like, hey, we have this wealth of material over here. Let's use some of it.
yeah, yeah. And let's stay relatively true to it,
Yes.
as opposed to, for instance, the Robert Pattinson Batman.
Actually
But
I enjoyed that as well, but
I enjoyed it too. But I enjoyed it too. But it completely ignores that wealth of material. Just completely
well, yeah,
ignores it.
that's true. That I mean, you can only do so much with noir Batman. I do hope in this new DC universe they're trying to build. I do hope that they pull from like more sources than just like Frank Miller and like the famous Batman stories, which would be nice because I think there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with Batman. I think a lot of people forget that Batman is can be a very adaptable character. One of the shows I quite like is Batman Brave and the Bold, which is very Silver Agey, very tongue in cheek, but it shows like Batman still works in that regard because he is still the super serious guy while this wackiness is going on. Which I also know you have an affinity for the Silver Age as well.
So you mentioned that you've got burned out on fantasy.
Yeah, well,
That makes me want to know how do you, my perennial question, how do you choose what you're going to read next?
a lot of it's just based on like, what do I want to read next? I've been reading a lot of horror recently because on my channel I like to read horror books during October. Just kind of as a thing I like to do on my channel. So I read Stephen Graham Jones's. I call it the double feature. It's two novellas. Enjoyed them quite a bit. I also read some books from some friends of mine. I'm actually going to have one of them on tomorrow. Tomorrow, as I'm recording of this, to talk about his book. Um, but I know I was just kind of like, man. But I read Malazan. I read Gardens of the Moon, which was a book I found immensely frustrating. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a small break from fantasy for a bit, aside from some standalones. I'll still be reading. I'll still be reading fantasy. I'm not gonna like stop reading fantasy anytime soon. But I am kind of like, okay, I'll take a break for right now.
But how do you pick? Are you ever nudged by BookTube itself?
Sometimes, like I didn't. I was very hesitant to touch Malazan for a long time because, um, well, for one, it's very popular, and two, it's a 10 book saga, and generally, I don't love the like. It can. I think you can easily get lost when you write like a 15-page epic, a la The Wheel of Time. With exceptions, I like a Song of Ice and Fire, but that's it's only 5 books, and they're not even done, and probably won't be anytime soon. So, um, but
Yeah, when
yeah,
it's something like The Wheel of Time or Malazan, you will get earnest, well-meaning booktubers, fantasy tubers, who will say something utterly demoralizing like, "Yeah, at volume 4, it really picks up."
I hate that. I hate
I
that
never
so
want to hear
much.
that. If you're telling me that your fantasy series doesn't get good until volume 4, you're telling me your fantasy series is bad.
Well, the thing with like Gardens of the Moon was like they're like it wasn't terrible. Like it didn't suck or
No.
anything. It's just kind of I just kind of was frustrated with it because I'm like, okay, you're in this world. There's all this weird stuff going on here, and I just felt there was some just it just set me wrong in some ways. Like he sets up this kind of dark, macabre, kind of Elric-esque kind of atmosphere, and then it's like a D&D battle happens like 5 minutes later, and
After battle, after battle.
I'm just like, what? Okay.
And right, and if you're going to make a fantasy world like Elric, like Melniboné, where more or less there is no one ring Mount of Doom overriding plot, where it's kind of just you're in this world and things are happening to you. If you're going to write an Elric series like that, you'd better have Michael Moorcock's literary ability. And I don't know of any writers that do, so you're going to end up with me. I just felt so often all through Malazan, I felt like I came on this hiking trip in this beautiful wilderness with a bunch of friends, and then 5 hours in, I realized they don't know where they're going and they don't have a map.
You know, I like that description, actually. That's I like that.
What is the equivalent of the One Ring? You do a lot of wandering around in the Lord of the Rings, but there is a story. There's a reason why you're
Yes.
there.
That was another thing, and I don't know if you may push back against this, so feel free. You know, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, but I kind of felt like there wasn't really much context to these characters. Like generally when I read a book or consume any kind of story, whether it be a film or a comic or a video game or a movie, I generally am like, okay, what do these characters want? Why does this matter? Why should I care about this? And like there were entertaining characters in Malzahn. Like Krupp was great. I really enjoyed Krupp a lot. But I didn't really get that all that much. A lot of it is just kind of just thrown into the wind. At least in my opinion. I
didn't get it either. It's way too, Malazan is beautifully written at times. Way too much of it is just one damn thing after another.
That's a good way to put it. That's a
I
good way to
want
put it. Yeah.
I want more than that. I don't want you to just think, well, all right, I'm comfy. I'm in my writer's room. The kids are in bed. I'm off to the races. No, no. I don't want you to. You can do that all you like, but don't try to sell it to me.
Yeah, no, our friend I Samwise, Sam, he penned a review recently on Goodreads, and he literally wrote on Gardens of the Moon, "I have now learned what compassion means," and I loved it. I'm like, this is fantastic. This is great.
I really don't think he's going to get along with the whole series.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna get along with all of it either, but I was intrigued. What finally kind of set me on it was, I'm always curious. As much as I love Tolkien and as much as I respect his impact, and there have been a lot of really good fantasy series that have been touched by him. I was curious to see a fantasy series that wasn't as much touched by Tolkien. And there are some out there like Elric obviously, and Bazleg comes to mind, and Roger Zelazny. I know I haven't read Roger Zelazny, but I know he's a bit out there. I know there are a couple out there. I thought Marlon James's Dark Star trilogy. I haven't. I'm still waiting for the third book, but I don't know if that's very Tolkien touched as much as other fantasies. Um,
Not
but
at all.
but I was curious to see like an epic, like a true like capital E epic fantasy that isn't like pulling from other
But
fantasy traditions.
but what
Um,
about
I,
an actual epic? Are you ever even remotely interested in reading Paradise Lost?
I have read Paradise Lost. I do love that poem quite a bit.
And okay, so my question was, when like you burned out on this particular fantasy series, do you look at your bookshelves or accept a nudge from BookTube, or what determines the next book?
Well, a lot of it is like, okay, what do I feel like reading?
Will it ever be Julius Caesar or Shakespeare?
Well, I do love Shakespeare. I actually have I don't want to pull it out, but I have a whole book of Shakespeare actually. But yeah, no, it's I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not
Or maybe it's influenced by upcoming guests. You surely have
possible
to read their books, right?
possibly as well. There's also that. I actually would love to. One of my goals for 2026 is to start kind of. I mean, I've been doing this year as well, but I've been wanting to dip my toes more into self-published fantasy because I've read some very interesting books from self-pub. Um, that I don't know would be. I mean, I don't know what you think about this. I know I know you have spoken in support of self-published books.
Yes. I also
I don't know
review
how
more
much
books than
you've
anyone
read
on
of
earth.
self-published
I
books
review a
though.
self-published book every day, every single day. No days off, no gaps. I review a self-published book every single day. So I not only am a fan of it, but I've read more of it than anybody. Although not all of it's fantasy. It goes like everything else. It's all over the map.
Yeah,
All over the map.
I mean, there are some like classics I would love to read that are kind of that have informed the fantasy genre. Like I would love. I know you're quite fond of Metamorphoses by Ovid. I would love to read that at some point. I just I haven't picked it up yet, or found it anywhere where I could like Also, I don't know what like translation would be good. Maybe I'll have to find one of your videos to see you talk about a translation that's good.
But you have had authors on your channel, right?
Yes, I have, and I have read some of their books, and then there's some of them I haven't yet. I just wanted to talk to them because I've seen them around.
Do
Um,
you ever get the bug when you talk to them to maybe
oh
become
yeah,
one yourself?
oh yeah, yeah. Um,
Do you think you would do that? Self-publishing?
like me personally,
Yeah.
like do that. I have thought about it. I've written stuff. I just haven't I haven't done it yet. But I'm not against it. No, because some of the
Hmm.
stuff I write, I don't know if well, I don't know. I won't say. I'll
Some of the
keep.
adventures that have been related on your channel sound fascinating. The publishing adventures.
Yeah.
I wonder what it'd be like to go through those.
Yeah, I'm going into Mordor to find some self-published fantasy.
I would if I were to come out with a book, I would definitely self-publish it. I wouldn't dream of going the
Yeah, I
mainstream route.
mean, with traditional publishing, it's kind of the thing with business. They care about what works more than like artistic whatnot. Unless it's like someone like Thomas Pynchon or someone who's made their due and can kind of just do whatever they want at this point.
Yeah, but people who aren't living legends get the hell written over them at every
And
step of the way.
and also, I would like to read more.
Change that attitude of the book, cut 30 pages, cut 300 pages. Whereas when you self-publish, you call the shots like that. You do what you want and
Um,
run the risk. You call the shots and you run the risk. If your judgments of your own work don't work, well, it won't sell.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's interested me as much about self-published books is that people are just kind of coming out here and just kind of putting out all sorts of weird, wild stuff, and I'm just like, I want to kind of dip more into that. I
Oh, it's
mean,
glorious.
as much
Just
as
glorious.
there's weird, wild stuff that are in the bookstores, um, I mean, I think there's kind of been this boom recently of self-published
Yeah, it's
fantasy,
wonderful. Once
and
upon a time, that just did not exist. That is a new thing in the world, and I could not be any happier about it. Everybody should take advantage of it. Everybody
like
has at least one book in them.
one of the books I read earlier this year was a book called Sledge versus the Labyrinth by a guy named Nick Horvath, who I'm friendly with. And it's just a book about this. It's kind of a Jack Reacher type of, Conan, tough, big, burly guy type of book, about this big guy who goes up against this, like, dark web internet, like, conspiracy. And that's the whole book. Like, it's not fantasy. I mean, as far as I know, it's not fantasy. Um, and people loved it. I quite enjoyed it myself. And I don't think you could do that in a more. I don't think Bloomsbury would put something like that out.
No, but even if you went to a house more amenable, Bloomsbury would not do it. But like if you went to Random House, still, you'd have to go through an agent. The agent would want to make a ton of changes to the book. Doesn't matter, they've never written anything, they'd still want to do it. And if you want to be represented by them, you have to do it. Then it goes to the publisher, and the first editor wants to make changes.
Yeah, or my friend Dr. Philip Chase, he wrote his A Dan trilogy, which I read last year, which I thought was an excellent trilogy of epic fantasy, and even that I thought could have been published traditionally if they had wanted
No,
if he had wanted to.
Can you imagine the hoops they would have made him jump through?
Oh, I'm sure they would have, but
knows his own books, knows the field, knows the background literature 10 times better than anyone at the publishing house. Are they going to admit that? No. Instead, they're going to start telling him what to do with his book. He made the self-evident choice to publish it himself.
yes, and that's the thing,
get it all done right, and then publish it yourself.
It's truly great. It's truly, really, it's very, very
good.
You
imagine the ordeal that he would have been put through?
I don't want to, honestly.
No, I don't either. It's bad enough when it's a 20-something author who just wants to realize a dream, but they wouldn't have seen any difference. They'd have put him through that ordeal too. Oh, no. No. They deserve, mainstream publishing deserves to lose people like Philip Chase. They deserve to, until they change the way they do business. And on top of that, if he'd gone through all their hoops and made all their dumbing down changes to a Dan, then what? Well, 75% of what you earn goes to the publisher. Not 10% goes to your agent. You can have the rest. You can have the table scraps that are left. No. He made the self-evident decision. I don't know why more people don't do it. I really don't.
I don't know either. Aside from, I mean, I've had friends who have had discussions about self-pub versus traditional publishing, which I don't really think there should be a conflict. I mean,
yeah, but there is.
There is.
And also, even traditionally published authors, I don't know why they put up with traditional publishing anymore. Brandon Sanderson announces that he's got private projects and who wants to privately fund them, makes $500 million.
I mean, I've not read Brandon Sanderson. I don't really want to, for that matter. But I respect that he did that, though.
He did that, and all of a sudden, people realized that could be done. I guarantee you, the morning after he hit $500 million, Stephen King had a long, hard look in the mirror. Because he's got a contract with a mainstream publisher.
Well, I think he's at that like Thomas Pynchon, kind of where he's made his dues. And I mean, I don't know if I haven't read as much Thomas Pynchon as I have Stephen King, but he's definitely like made his dues. He's like, I can just kind of do whatever I want and they'll take it.
Yeah, but he can't. He can't do whatever he wants. Stephen King might have a lot of leeway, but he can't tell his publisher that according to our contract, which I signed and which is legally enforceable, I want 95% of the proceeds of my next book.
That's true.
He can't do that. He'll sue him into the Neolithic age if he does that. Whereas if he were to go on his website or on social media and say, well, apart from my deal with my publisher, I'm thinking of writing 2 new books. Who wants to sign up for them? He'd make $500 million overnight. He would. He'd make more in that one venture than he's done in his whole literary career outside of Hollywood. And he must know that. And he's not the only one. Think of all the other mainstream authors that are out there. Nora Roberts in the romance world, she must have been thinking, should I do that? Should I privately publish my next book? All because of Brandon Sanderson, because he made the gross national product of a small country by announcing all those books. No offense to Fantasy Tube, but all of his private projects turned out to be crap. Still, the money is still in the bank.
I mean, he's laughing. We're just sitting here,
Right. I'm not sure that they were all crap because they weren't battery edited at a mainstream publisher. I'm sure he hired editors to edit them. I think.
Well, I would if
Yeah, it's probably just the odds. I mean, with Brandon Sanderson, 76% of everything he writes is crap. So it could be that he was just the next 5 books he was going to publish for anybody would be bad. But still, for him to go rogue like that and make people realize that there's a gigantic amount of money out there and he gets all of that. It's not like 70% of that goes to anybody. It all goes to him. So every mainstream name, and even the non-mainstream names, even the names that have a real strong cult following, like Mark Greaney, the Gray Man novels. what if he waited until his contract was out with his publisher and then told the internet that the next Gray Man novel is yours? I need you to fund it. And if you fund it, I'll write it. He'd make 10 times as much as any contract could bring him.
Yeah, it's I that kind of reminds me. I read a fantasy novel a few years ago called Beyond Redemption. It's by a guy called Michael Fletcher. And if I recall correctly, he did, I think, traditionally publish the first one, and then the contract, or I guess his publisher was like, this didn't sell enough or something like that. Anyone can feel free to correct me if they get this far in the video discussion. And he's like, screw it, I'll just self-publish the other two, and it just kind of, and it blew up. Now it's more of like it's a cult series, but it's blown up.
But he has to be happier.
Yeah, I imagine he is.
And I don't know many stories about authors who dipped their toe in the professional side, the mainstream side, left it for their own volition. I don't know many stories of those authors where they really regret that decision. Most of the stories I've heard of people saying, "Oh my God, I'm so glad that I left mainstream publishing behind." And that is mainstream publishing's fault. That's mainstream publishing's fault. God, I'm glad you brought up Philip Chase, because you couldn't come up with a better example. He must have. I don't know if he shopped it around to any agents. But if he did,
he did. He actually got an agent. He just couldn't get a publisher for it. He told me about it.
I can just imagine the condescending consideration emails he got from publishers. Oh my God! Well, this is fairly good work. And I'm thinking, this guy has a massive following. Everyone respects him. He knows more about fantasy. He's forgotten more about fantasy than you're ever going to know. And you're writing him a condescending letter like this. We might consider it if you make these fundamental changes. He's a perfect example. If mainstream publishing can lose him, they deserve to lose him.
Yeah, and it's worked out really well. That's kind of why I've considered self-publishing, because most of the people I've known who've done it are like, yeah, it's great. Or well, maybe not great. It has its downsides, of course, but mostly they're like you said, they're happier overall with the decision.
I mean, there are successes in mainstream publishing on book. Katie from Books and Things is mainstream published, actually, and has a lovely relationship with her publisher, and they love her work and have not impinged on it, as far as I can tell, not impinged on it greatly. So it does happen, but most of the time, no. Most of the time, it's a nightmare of condescension and micromanaging, and then when you're all done putting up with the micromanaging and the condescension,
also, this prose is too difficult. Make it more simpler. I hate that.
Or these chapters are too long.
Yeah. That makes me think of the scene from Amadeus where
there are
too many notes. Yeah.
Just cut a few and it'll be fine.
And he's just sitting there like, are you freaking serious? Like, he literally just said that. It's even funnier when that actually happened. Maybe not like that, but it happened. I'm just like, oh my God, that's great. No, but it's funny how that works. I just but like I've had friends, like my friend Joe Byrne did his Hybrid Helix series. He's still doing it right now. And it's a weird space opera superhero thing, which is like Star Trek and like Marvel. Which probably wouldn't, like, I don't even think Tor would have taken it. And Tor takes like the unconventional fantasy. Like, I don't even think they would have touched it. But he's out there. He's made a pretty good go at it,
Well, yeah, you develop a following of people who like what you're doing and like your style enough, your writing style enough to follow you into something new. And you're not told by some mainstream publisher, we'll send you 30 copies of your book, put them in the trunk of your car, and get on the road. Good luck to you. Go and promote this thing. You're not told that. You're not told anything like that. Instead, you have to do it all yourself. You have to take all the risks yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems to me more the way of the future.
I don't see traditional publishing kind of. I can definitely see it like decreasing because more people are realizing, oh, we can self-publish now, and we can get away with it.
You can make just as much money. Maybe they're thinking, down the line, well, I can't make Stephen King kind of money, but 99.9%
that's pretty rare. I
Yeah, they
mean,
don't. 99.9% of authors don't make that kind of money. You can make just the same amount of money, and you don't owe it to anybody. No one's got their hand in your back pocket. You make all the decisions, you run all the risks, but you get all the rewards. And your book is still out there. It's not like we're talking. I mean, 35 years ago, these would have been vanity press books. You would have got a box of specially printed copies of your book in the mail. It didn't have an ISBN. It wasn't scannable. It was never in bookstores. You handed them out to your friends at dinner parties, and that was it. The world didn't know your book existed, and it moldered in your basement. But Philip Chase's books have ISBNs. Anyone can find them anywhere and order a copy. They, indie published books are typically not in bookstores, but nobody goes to bookstores. So not as many people go to bookstores, and there are fewer bookstores. And you don't know they're going to be in bookstores if the mainstream publisher isn't distributing them, isn't promoting them the way they say they will. Then you don't know that.
Yeah,
No,
I actually
sorry to rant. It's a little hobby horse of mine.
yeah, I got I got My Dark Places by James Ellroy. I got it from Amazon, and I got it today, and there was nothing in the Amazon package. So I sent him an email. Gonna get the refund for it, so it'll be fun.
They sent you the package without sending the book?
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't think it was stolen. Nothing was in it. It just kind of looked like they slapped it in there, and I'm just like, Amazon, you're usually good at this. What are you doing? But
Elroy's another great example. He has stories that would curl your toenails about his earliest forays into mainstream publishing, and the just dumb, unthinking demands that they made on him without realizing.
Which author is this?
Ellroy.
Oh, yeah.
Even in his earliest books, there were sub-editors who read what he submitted and said, "This is brilliant. Not only should we not touch this, but please let's sign this author for a lot." And they were just ignored. Said he was patted on the head and told, change this, change that, by editors who've never written anything and never read anything, including his own work.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping to read American Tabloid in 2026 because I've been kind of working my way through the LA Quartet recently because I had an odd relationship. Like I started with LA Confidential because I really liked the movie, and I read the book. I'm like, wow. And then I read Black Dahlia, and I'm like, okay, that was really all right, interesting. And I read Big Nowhere this year. I thought it was really good. So now I'm like,
I'm well known on BookTube for saying that the movie is almost always better than the book. LA Confidential, no, the book is better than the movie. The movie's really good, but the book is even better. And The Cold 6000, oh, what a book!
Yeah, I haven't I haven't picked that. I thought about doing the whole trilogy next year, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll just go with American Tabloid and see how it goes. But I am going to be.
When it comes to James Ellroy, that feeling that I talked about of your hair standing on end, that thrilling feeling of that a book is really doing it for you, you get that feeling with Ellroy, but you only get it through punching in the face. He punches you in the face. Yeah. And every punch gives you that feeling. So you're suffering for it.
He's not, yeah.
He just 6,000 punches to the face.
Yeah, he's an acquired taste. I actually recently started talking to, and I'm actually hoping to have him on the show, Dr. Stephen Powell, who wrote his biography called Love Me, Fierce and Danger. He also runs a YouTube channel called Ellroy Reads. Interesting guy. He's a good guy. We've become friendly recently. Yeah, no, he's it's kind of interesting. He almost seems hardwired to write what he writes because of his life,
Yes.
And like there is something kind of twisted there. Like, Dennis Lehane, I love Dennis Lehane, but you watch interviews of the guy, he seems like a pretty well-adjusted individual, Yep. James Ellroy, he'll just walk up and just be like, "I'm the fucking demon dog. If you don't like my books, tough luck."
Adjusted individual. He's not well adjusted at all.
Yeah, no.
He'll be a fun conversation.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's
I always worry though when we call an author an acquired taste. I always worry that we're scaring more people off than we're encouraging
that's true. I mean, I think everyone should go read Ellroy because I find
absolutely you should try him.
His influence. on crime fiction is immaculate.
It's a if he's I where in the 21st century, acquired taste has come to mean a warning sign. It's actually an open invitation for you to acquire a new taste.
Though speaking of Lehane, I'm actually hoping to read his historical trilogy, the Coughlin books. I think hoping
They are fantastic.
I mean, I've not read a book from him that I dislike. I know there's one, which was the one he put out before Small Mercies, that basically everyone was like, Dennis, I love you. You kind of whiffed there. I don't remember the name of it at the moment.
Wolves have really good stuff in them, but the Coughlin books are great.
Yeah,
Just
no, yeah, I mean, most of the stuff I've read from him is either really good or excellent, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I'd be very shocked if I didn't.
But when it comes to something like that, what will be the method? I'm so interested in some okie dude method.
Oh,
Say that your curiosity about any given day grows to the point where I want to read this next. What do? You don't e-read, do you? So you'd go to a bookstore.
I have done it before. I'm really bad at keeping up with it because I like physical media. I'm very like I sometimes joke with people I'm like an old man in a kid's body, and then there's days I'm like, God, I'm still just an idiot kid. But
So you would go to a bookstore? Would you go to a new bookstore?
yeah, yeah, no, but or I'll go to Amazon, but
Okay.
I have e-read. I'm not against it. I have thought about getting a Kindle. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Because I've had friends who are like, "Oh my gosh, it's so convenient. I could literally just like highlight stuff. I can highlight," and I'm like, "Oh man, that sounds really nice."
I made an entire video on that subject just today.
Oh real? Oh geez, I'll have to watch that when I'm done here. But
It is incredibly convenient.
no, it's yeah, yeah. I just like physical media. I don't know why, but I'm not against e-reading though. I'm not a luddite, obviously.
But if it were, if the Dennis Lehane, if any given day were the next book, you would just go to a Barnes and Noble,
Yeah, or I'd probably get it on Amazon.
or you
Probably
order it on Amazon.
like
Even after your bad experience with an Amazon package coming empty.
this is the first time I've had a bad experience with Amazon. Even though I'm frustrated, I've hopefully it was a fluke. And the other stuff I got in came in fine, so it's fine. Not
Way
really.
too much of the stuff that a couple of years ago, well, more than a couple of years ago, I flirted with getting books on eBay or Amazon or whatnot. Way too much of it came not as advertised, or not at all.
Were the books just bad, or did they just come in damaged?
Damaged, heavily highlighted when the listing said specifically that it has no highlighting, or the listing on, for instance, eBay or something like that. It's clear from the listing that the seller is just cutting and pasting, and is not actually describing the book that's right in front of them. So you don't know what you're getting. I stopped doing that sort of thing. I mean,
Well,
a
yeah,
brand new book, I have no choice. There are no retail bookstores in Boston. So if I wanted a brand new book that, the publisher wouldn't send me, well, then I would have to buy it, but I'd do it new from Amazon. I wouldn't do it eBay or anything like that.
yeah. It's like
I would ask the publisher first.
I was about to say I've gotten a good couple of my books here from Amazon. That one that I mean I'm still I'll probably get My Dark Places again, but I'll probably take some time. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, are you for real right now? Like I wanted to read that. It's like, yes, bare your soul to me, James Elroy.
Somebody's soul, anyway. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. I'm not. I mean, a guy doesn't walk out and call himself the slick trick with the donkey dick and come out as a normal person.
Right, and that's a kind of writer, who has a public shtick. James Elroy is one. Tom Wolfe was another. That kind of writer that has a public shtick. Even you could say Thomas Pynchon, even though he's private, still
Yeah.
has. He is the recluse. He is the weird recluse. And when a writer has a shtick like that, thing that always gets me, the thing that kind of breaks my heart, is that that's not the same thing as a steady craftsman who does not have a shtick, who's just doing good work
Mm-hmm.
year after year after year, but doesn't have a shtick. Seems like Dennis Lane, good example. Not a perfectly normal guy. If you have a shtick, there's something else that you need, and that is the fire in the belly. And the simple truth is, the fire in the belly fades with age. No writer who has a shtick ever writes good work late in their career.
Or like, I guess like Hunter S. Thompson, I would say is a good
Hunter S.
example.
Thompson, perfect example. Yep, you need the fire and the shtick go hand in hand. And
I mean, have you
when
read any of
no
his
one wants to
recent
admit
books?
that,
Because I've
but no
heard
one
very
wants
mixed things about a lot of his recent books. Elroy,
who
anyway. Elroy is what I'm talking about.
his last 4 books have been terrible. And they've been terrible because he has the shtick, but he doesn't have the fire anymore. No one, but especially men, don't want to admit that simply fades. It simply goes away with time. We all like to think if a writer has genius, well, the genius is disembodied. It's up in the air here, so nothing can touch it. Time certainly can't touch it, but that's not true. A patient craftsman can work to 90.
Mm-hmm.
But if you touch shtick, I mean, the last 2 books by Tom Wolfe, this latest novel by Thomas Pynchon, it doesn't work. And the thing is, if you're a young man and you decide to lean into shtick, so I'm going to wear a certain outfit or I'm going to talk in a certain weird way and I'm going to write brilliant books, if you lean into the shtick when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 60s, it'll be too late for you to learn craft.
Mm.
So you're stuck.
Yeah, or I mean, I read the Yiddish Policeman's Union by Michael Chabon earlier
Michael
this
Chabon
year.
is a perfect example. A solid craftsman who can write, he'll be able to write works until he's 95. They'll all be good because he's never done the shtick business. He could have, but he didn't. So
Like he also seems like a relatively normal person from the sounds of it. I mean, I don't know the guy, so I don't know. Maybe he's a weirdo, but I don't think so.
he's not a weirdo. Not in the same conversation as we mentioned Elroy.
Oh,
No way.
definitely not. No.
No. And I understand completely if you're young and you've got a supernova of talent burning away in your belly. Okay, you have a choice to make. You can either parlay that out in mortgage payments over the course of a long career, or you can play act and burn it all out. Chances are that no matter which choice you make, you're going to end up immortal. But you're going to fade if you don't make the wise decision like Salinger did to either leave the publishing world or die young. Then you're going to fade in public view, and reviews are going to get more polite and less insightful. Oh my God. The book reviews of the final couple of books by Tom Wolfe are embarrassing. This is the guy who wrote Bonfire of the Vanities, wrote the Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. He definitely burned with fire. He wrote the right stuff, for Pete's sake. But his last couple of books, critics were mostly talking about his earlier work.
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, that seems like a fate worse than death. To me, I would rather be just a salary-paying accountant writing solid work every year forever than to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of worried a similar thing's happened with one of my favorite writers, whether it be in comics or even in books, but Alan Moore. I'm kind of afraid that fate might befall him at some point.
Yeah, I was worried about that with Alan Moore, but a couple of the things he's done in the last 10 years have been brilliant. So
I actually did get The Great Win. I'm actually hoping to at least read that before the end of the year. So, because I'm like,
I wouldn't call The Great Win brilliant, but it was really good.
yeah,
Really, really.
I've heard mostly kind things about it. So I mean, I'm like, oh, Alan Moore's doing fantasy. I gotta see this. And he's also like been like, oh, Piranesi is pretty good, guys. Like, and it is very good. So I agree with him there. But I am afraid his kind of weird like Magus thing is gonna blow up on him, and he'll eventually. I don't think so, but I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, the scary thing about Moore is that I'm not sure any of it is a shtick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The scary thing is I think he might be that weird.
No. Yeah. Yeah. There's some of his stuff, like his performance, like whatever that was. I'm like, I don't know if I don't think I'm weird enough to appreciate that. I My demons were middle class and tame. That's what Leonard Cohen said.
My demons are middle class and tame.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
Well,
yeah.
I don't mean to end on such a normal note, but I am a little pressed for a deadline.
Oh, well, all right. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Steve,
Otherwise,
for
we could just keep talking about these authors forever. This has been so much fun.
yeah, it's always a blast. Thank you so much for coming on. But before you leave, just real quick, if you have any social media, you can feel free to share it. After that,
No,
we
I
can wrap
don't
up.
want anybody. I don't want any more followers. I don't want any more subscribers. No, let me share your channel. Everybody should subscribe to this channel.
All
No,
right.
no, I do not. I do not. Hey, you want to drop where we can find you? You can find me right here on the fainting couch. No, I don't
It's
want any more
fine. I'll
subscribers.
I'll link them anyway.
Yes.
Take that.
No, I am not a social media person. I'm
All
just
right.
on social media.
All right. All right. All right. Well, Steve, seriously, thank you. This has been an utter delight to
Oh
talk with
yeah,
you.
we wandered all over and we found gold everywhere. That was wonderful.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and Steve, I hope I don't. Hopefully you don't blow your deadline. That would not be good for anybody.
Luckily, I don't sleep, so I should be fine.